Sorry to every other Kenyan, and I understand his pain. But I'd like to say these two things. First is we have a government of lamentations. I think this government is reading the book of Lamentations so much. Because the IG has got a lot of powers. And they have the power to work with the prosecutorial bodies in this country. If there is a mortuary attendant who availed anybody to be used as a display to cause what they are saying that Azimio wanted to achieve, I think that mortuary attendant by now should have been prosecuted, a file should have been opened, and there should be a case.
Because that's information that should be available.
Because that should be available. And if there is a family that allowed the body of one of the persons, of their own persons in the mortuary to be used for that purpose, we are praying to the IG to make and open a case against those people, so that those habits do not happen in the future.
Okay.
So I do not think that those statements would have come out the way they came out. If I was advising the IG, I would have told him to instead start by prosecuting the people who are known to have done that. Because for him to say that, then there should be people who did that. So when it comes in the news that a case has been opened against people who have allowed the bodies of their loved one, or mortuary attendants who have displayed bodies of people who were not victims of post-election violence, that would have been a better angle to relay that information, and the government would have been seen as a responsible government that is taking actions on those people. But right now, from where Kenyans sit, they see this as a lamenting government, a government with all the police powers, prosecutorial powers, powers of arrest, a government, because the judiciary is one of the arms of the government, that has not opened any case in court of people who are using dead bodies to get political...
then secondly, not even mentioned a single area.
And even a name, yes. Yeah. And then secondly, it is unfair to think that Raila Amolo Odinga and the Azimio team has used people as shields to achieve particular political objectives for this reason. Right now, if you look at social media, because people sometimes lack the strength to go to the streets, there is a lot of complaints, genuine complaints by Kenyans of inability to fix a meal. In fact, many Kenyans say nowadays they eat one meal like a dog. The members of parliament are thoroughly cushioned from the challenges that are facing Mwananchi. They have a good salary. These people have mileage allowance. They drive vehicles. Their medical cover is way unbelievable. It is out of the reach of very many Kenyans. So they are sitting at a tower and do not completely understand what exactly Kenyans are going through. And I can tell you, with or without Raila Amolo Odinga, people are protesting in their hearts. People are unhappy. There is no public participation, I remember, where people were asked, how many of you want the price of fuel to go up? And they said yes. There is no public participation where they can show us one video where Kenyans said we are okay with being taxed and we want to pay more for the housing levy from our salaries. There is no public participation where Kenyans said we are okay with the price of electricity going up. But public participation was done, na tukaambiwa hii bill itapita mpende msipende. So with or without people being called for maandamano, with or without people being told to go to the streets, Kenyans have an inherent protest that is existing in them and a complete and total rebellion against a government that they feel is bent on making life difficult for them. And it's incumbent upon you people to whom the president does listen to go and tell him, Your Excellency, even if maandamano is not happening, in the hearts of every working Kenyan, the bulk of them wanaandamana, they are unhappy, and they are sulking with your government. And now he needs to start changing the approach, and he needs to start changing some of the things he's doing. Thank you.
Okay. Javas, we need to end this topic because I want to talk about dialogue, but your point on this, the fact, how did those sentiments sit with you, noting that there are families that are still grieving?
Well, first, Ken, it is curious to have the Inspector General make the remarks. I want to pleasantly imagine that the remarks were made